I got it.
All set?
Yep.
Is it spelled A-U-B-I-N?
It is.
Thank you.
So my name's James Aubin. You can also call me Jim. I'm a solar consultant and a solar sales team builder. I've been doing that for 7 years in the state. My teams have been educating and installing more residents in the state than most other companies in that time. And I'm actually also an independent libertarian candidate for governor. And I think what a lot of people don't realize and admit is that this is primarily a government-created problem. The utility in the state have failed to act for decades to get ahead of this problem. Over the last 10 to 15 years, they have shut down multiple gas and coal and nuclear plants without building new, cleaner, more sustainable ones to replace that. Now we need to import most of our electricity from further away. It costs more electricity. We're still dependent on fossil fuels, primarily natural gas, which we need to import through 3 pipelines into New England because we don't have any here. The government does not allow new pipelines to be built, nor do they allow new power plants to be built. They don't allow nuclear, which would help stabilize costs and be a lot cleaner. I see many people don't understand how the utility actually makes money. The utility actually makes money on the delivery section, not on supply, which is where this rate hike is happening. The supply rate is set and determined by the producers. That is based on a variety of factors, primarily their fuel source, which is natural gas. In Pennsylvania, where they actually extract natural gas, a unit of natural gas costs $8. Here in New England, it's going to be $18. That's due to there not being enough pipelines and not having enough supply here. We have too few power producers in our area after closing down all these plants. New drilling is not being allowed federally to help states lower these costs as well. So there's all these different government-created factors that are actually creating this problem, and no one either knows that, understands it, or wants to admit it. They just point fingers everywhere. The utility could do some things to alleviate this. The utility could allow people to go solar much easier, but they don't. They are very hard on the 3-year historical usage. If you plan to get an electric car or get some space heaters or increase your usage to just have a better lifestyle, they make it very difficult for you to get an appropriately sized system, so you're still dependent on utility. Also, if you owe money to the utility, you can't go solar. They don't issue you a permit. So people that are actually in the most need cannot get solar and save money. Maybe they should allow people that owe debt to go solar and pay that off on a payment plan. Maybe that makes more sense, right? Solar needs to allow nuclear power, which is cheaper, much more stable price. I was in the Navy on a nuclear ship for 4 years. Nuclear is incredibly safe, incredibly efficient. Everyone's afraid of it because they look at the one in Ukraine. Can't think of the name right now. Yeah, Chernobyl. Thank you. Guess what? Nobody's building 1960s Soviet reactors anymore. People like to blame things like the pandemic for inflation. It's actually caused by poor government response to the pandemic and printing trillions of new dollars and giving that away to insiders. That's what caused inflation. People like to blame Ukraine. I wonder if there'd be a war in Ukraine right now if we didn't orchestrate a coup 5 years ago. Right? How come most of us didn't even hear about this hearing until this morning from Pat Ford? Why don't they make these more accessible? Do you guys have something to hide? Are you afraid of hearing scrutiny? So, if you guys ever want to talk more about how the government is fucking all of us, here's my card. I can go for hours.
Next speaker is Grant Delgarian.